What's up, my peeps? Today, I wanted to talk about the evolution of rap beef. Um, I'm an old man. I'm 37 years old, and I've seen different eras of hip hop and rap beefs. I can remember when I was a kid, the first time I heard "The Bridge Is Over." I was in my auntie's room and she was playing it on a boombox, on a tape. Told you before, you youngins, look up cassette tapes if you don't know what that is. And I was blown away, and he basically took a shot at an entire borough and MC Shan, okay, because the birth of hip hop is in the Bronx, but MC Shan was claiming that Queens started it, and that just started a feud amongst them. Fast forward to, you know what, I want to go back. The first time I ever heard a female engage in a rap beef was Roxanne Shante. And if you guys watched her Netflix movie, I don't think they covered that. I'm gonna have to watch that movie again, but I do not remember them covering the beef that she had with KRS-One. She threw some shots at him, and she did pretty good, and it was a rebuttal because actually in The Bridge Is Over, like I said, he was dissing the whole borough, and Roxanne Shante is from Queens, and one of the lines in the song, he said, Roxanne Shante is only good for steady fucking. And, she took that and she hit back at him. So that was the first time I seen a female engage in rap beef. Okay, now I'm going to fast forward. Okay, you go to the 90s and everybody knows about the beef between NWA and Ice Cube. If you haven't seen that movie, Straight Outta Compton, I highly, highly recommend that movie. It's been out for like about 2 or 3 years now. I don't know why, if you're a hip hop fan, you haven't watched it. If you needed somebody to recommend it to you, here it is right here. I recommend you watch that movie. People say that, some things missing, but it's hard to, put so much, to condense so much into a movie. Without you don't want people sitting in there for like 4 hours and stuff. This ain't the Lord of the Rings. This is, a tale about a hip hop group. Okay. Fast forward to that, everybody knows about the beef between Biggie and Pac and, the things that they had. And you go from that to, the famous beef with 50 Cent and Ja Rule. Now, to me, this is where the evolution occurred. I think between, what happened with in the East Coast with KRS-One and Queensbridge, it was big for the genre, but hip hop really wasn't that big, okay? It was just gaining ground around that time. The beef with NWA and Ice Cube, it was bigger because, hip hop had a bigger platform, but at the same time, it wasn't as big as the Biggie and Pac beef. And, unfortunately, those guys got killed, okay? I don't want to say that those murders happened because of that beef, because they coming out with another movie about Biggie's death. And it's like, once something is unsolved, it's a million conspiracies behind it, okay? Shit, even, I talk about politics, even things that are solved, people will spin it into a conspiracy theory. But I don't want to link that to that. That was a game-changing beef, but I think the beef between 50 Cent and Ja Rule was really, really huge, because that was the first time I've ever seen a beef where an artist actually, two big name artists, and one of them actually just fell off. Okay, people will attribute Ja Rule's falling off to 50 Cent. Okay, and why I think this was like a big game changer in beef is because when you would see the older beefs, it was split. Like the fan base would just your core fans would pretty much run to you. Okay, so if you got when you had Biggie and Pac, you had Tupac fans, siding with Tupac and Biggie fans siding with Biggie. But you also had tweeners, okay? I was a tweener, all right? Now, I'm probably the biggest Tupac fan you ever meet. Now, I know a lot of people will say that, but, my nickname in junior high going into high school was Baby Tupac, okay? I was crazy about that guy, all right? But when it came to the beef, I was a tweener, all right? Because I still listened to Biggie. Biggie was so fucking talented, it was hard for me to deny his talent, all right? And you had a lot of people that were tweeners. And even if you was just a hardcore Biggie fan, you wasn't denying the good music that Pac was giving and vice versa. Now, what you had with 50 Cent and Ja Rule was different because you got people taking sides, but then at the same time, you have people switching sides. And I've never seen nothing like that before. Ja Rule style, he was introduced to us first. I don't want to say Ja, birthed the style, but from what the research that I have done, okay, looking at the way 50 Cent was rapping before he got out in the mainstream, his style was like more just straight gangster. Okay, every now and then he would like throw in a song for the radio, a song for the ladies and stuff. But when he hit the mainstream, it's like he pretty much took Ja's style. The only difference between these guys, like it's probably 2 or 3 differences. Ja has a more versatile flow. Ja can rap fast. Ja can rap slow. Okay, and Ja has a deeper voice. Okay, he got that baritone voice. All right, 50 Cent really doesn't switch his flow up that much. He probably has done it on a few tracks, but his flow is pretty much the same. And his voice is a little higher. He's like a soprano, I guess. And when I first heard 21 Questions, I was like, how you gonna knock this guy, in his song, when he was dissing Ja on Get Rich or Die Trying, he said, you sing for hoes and sound like the Cookie Monster, which is a funny line, okay? But now you're doing it, all right? And he did it for monetary gains, and I'm not mad at him. 50 is a hell of a businessman. 50 makes calculated moves, okay? He knew what he was doing. But it was like a contradiction. Like, how are you going to clown this guy for this type of style, and then you're taking that style and you're running with it? And it was very crazy to watch fans switch sides because you're leaving Ja to go to 50 Cent, who's basically doing the same thing. The only difference is, I guess you feel that, 50 is better at it, I guess. In my opinion, he wasn't. I think Ja did what he did better, okay? I think 50 is better in the gangster lane, all right? Another thing with that beef being a game changer besides, like, people switching sides was antics, all right? And this is what you're seeing now with beefs. It started with this, okay? And the antics are taken to another level now because of the internet. But then, the platforms that they had was basically magazines and, the Source magazine, Double XL magazine, interviews you would see on MTV, BET, and 50 in his interviews would clown Ja, all right? He would clown him in his interviews and magazines and stuff like that. He would make skits about him and things of that nature. So it kind of went outside of, the booth. Like, you're taking your beef outside of the pen and paper. You're doing other things with it. And I think that's what ultimately caused Ja demise was that Ja wasn't ready for that. Okay, Ja was pretty much, rapping about 50. He would do interviews about it, but when he would do his interviews about 50, he would be emotional. Okay, when 50 would just clown, he would laugh and poke fun and make jokes about him. 50 didn't seem butthurt about anything. Ja came off a lot. He seemed like he was butthurt about the whole situation. Now, I don't want to say that 50 Cent is the entire reason Ja fell off, because Murder Inc. was going through legal problems and that record label went through turmoil, and I think that had a lot to do with Ja falling off, because it was hard for them to go out there and push out music when they got to spend a lot of time in court and getting prepared for court. So that took a lot away from the things that they were trying to do. But people will chalk up, your average rap fan will chalk up Ja's L to 50 Cent. All right. Now, the antics within that and the people switching sides, that made it a game changer. Okay. Now what you're seeing, going from, KRS-One and Queensbridge to NWA and Ice Cube to Tupac to Biggie to Ja and 50 Cent. What you have now, I'm going to go to what you have now. What you're seeing now is a lots of antics. You are seeing more antics than anything, okay? When I get on, I follow DJ Academics, okay? I try to keep my mind, sharp on what's going on with the new guys, okay? I'm a fan of some of them. I am one of them bitter old heads that missed the golden era, all right? But at the same time, I give these guys a shot, all right? And what I see more than anything with these rap beefs is internet antics, okay? If your internet game is not on point, you will lose a battle. Back in the days, with these guys going away from Ja, because I think Ja and 50 is the ones that birthed all of these antics. Back then, it was about the quality of the song. You need to get that stank face from a line. What I mean by stank face is when we heard KRS-One say, Manhattan keep on making it, Brooklyn keep on taking it, Bronx keep creating it, and Queens keep on faking it. When you heard that, you was like, ooh, stank face. You're like, ooh. That was the thing that made you say, he destroyed them. It ain't no coming back from that. All right? With Biggie and Pac, now, one thing I will say about the Biggie and Pac beef was that was like a birth of like really personal shots. When you look at NWA and Ice Cube, they took a few personal shots at each other, but they didn't go into depth as Pac and Biggie, okay? Now, Biggie was more subliminal with his disses. He never really would say anything, say any names. I didn't know that Kick In the Door was about Nas until Nas brought that up in his song. I forgot the name of the song, but it's on his album. What's the name of that album? Godson. When he said, you don't know about my Biggie Wars. Who you think Kick In the Door was for? But that's my heart, okay? He was very slick with dissing people. And everybody, when he did Who Shot You, we know he was talking about Pac, but he never said his name. Now, Pac was very personal. Pac was like, I fuck your bitch, you sleep on my couch, and stuff like that. So he brought the personal thing into it. So I would say that's kind of a game changer in a way. Okay, so you got personal with Tupac and Biggie. You got antics with Ja and 50 Cent. And now you have a combination of all of that. And the antics are like taking over in a major way. You don't even have to make a song about a person now, pretty much. You can just have a good, funny video that you put online and people will laugh at it and say, hey, he murdering this dude. And that's funny to me because, I'm from the old school. It's like, how's this guy getting murdered? When all he did was just put up a video like a skit or something. But that's where we're at right now. Now, without what I think took the antics to a whole nother level, okay, was the Meek Mill and the Drake beef. The Meek Mill and the Drake beef, Drake was very excellent with his timing, okay? And he, when he came out with Back to Back, all right, for him to have the Toronto Blue Jays on the cover, as the cover art for the single, okay, and it's the anniversary of the Toronto Blue Jays winning the World Series. I mean, that's being calculated, okay? And he also changed it where it was a club song. We never really seen a rap beef song being brought out as a club song, okay? And out of that came a lot of memes, okay? And I love me some memes. If anybody care to look at Leon Jones on Facebook, my profile pic is a picture, just a blackout picture, is just black. You will see that I love me some memes. I post memes. I'm in a lot of meme groups. I love memes, okay? And the memes that came out of that beef was crazy, all right? It was crazy. And they played a lot, you know, on his lyrics. You would take a quote from the song and find a picture that applies to it, okay? And then you had a lot of Drake fans go on Meek Mill's Instagram and just flood his comment section with back-to-back posts and pictures of trophies and stuff like that, just telling him he fell off, okay? Those antics right there, along with it being a club song, just really drove Meek down. But shout out to Meek for making one of the best comebacks I've ever seen in hip-hop history, okay? A lot of people, once they're considered out because of a rap beef, they're actually out. Ain't no coming back from that. But this guy, you know, he bounced back in a major way, and that's a good thing because I like Meek. I think Meek is a very talented artist, all right? Now, with Drake bringing the antics to like a new height, I think it just went out of control after that. I mean, you can't mention antics without mentioning this guy name. He's like the hottest rap beef artist, you would say right now. I'm talking about that rainbow hair kid, Tekashi 6ix9ine. Tekashi 6ix9ine is taking antics to a new height. What we're witnessing now is another level of game changing. You may not like this guy. A lot of people don't like him. I'm not really a big fan of him. Gummo is a guilty pleasure, okay? Because I'm from the South. I'll tell you guys I'm from Memphis. I love crunk music, you know, 3 6 Mafia and all that, because I grew up on that. And that song reminds me like of an old school crunk song. So I dig that song. It's decent, okay? But outside of that, I really don't fuck with that guy. But you can't deny what you're seeing. He's taking this to a whole nother level, okay? He's beefing with people that your average person would be scared of. Like, nobody is taking it to Chief Keef like that. You know, nobody is taking it to YG like that. These are like the biggest, quote-unquote, gangsters that we have in the game. People look at them, and, you know, I made a video about real rappers, like how people will latch on to somebody because in real life they're real. They're about the lyrics that they're saying, okay? When you take a look at Tekashi, you would think, this guy is a fucking clown, okay? He looks like a damn unicorn, all right? And you're not taking his gangster persona seriously. So for him to get away with the things he's getting away with, it makes you think. I got a conspiracy theory on this. I kind of think that these guys are, you know, playing along with this. I think that, you know, they probably DM each other on the down low, like, look, I'm going to do this and do that, and it's going to be funny. Because there's no way in the hell that if these guys are that real, that they would let him get away with the things that he get away with. Now, I know I heard that he has top-notch security. I heard that, you know, the Treyway gang, I'm not familiar about the Treyway gang, but I heard like them guys don't play out there, so he's heavily protected. But at the same time, you don't think that these other rappers were heavily protected in the 90s? Okay, and they used to fight. These dudes really used to fight. KRS-One threw a dude off the stage before, okay? the guy from PM Dunn. Threw that dude right off the stage, all right? Now, you can make a case that security is different now and it's, probably better now than it was back in the days, but that doesn't mean that these guys didn't have security, okay? And they would get touched. This story is about MC Hammer not playing, all right? You couldn't get away with saying things about him because he will come see you. You can check Redman's video on Vlad TV about that. He said that, MC Hammer didn't play, even though he's this pop artist. So for Tekashi to be getting away with the things that he gets away with, it's amazing to me. And he doesn't make many songs about these guys that he's dissing. I haven't even heard a song with him dissing YG or any of these guys, okay? All he does is get on the internet and he runs his mouth about them. And some of the shit is fucking hilarious, I can't lie. So since he's very entertaining, we gravitate to it. I tell you guys not to let stupid shit trend. And I tell you that I'm guilty of this too, okay? And this is one of the things I'm guilty of. If I'm scrolling down YouTube or scrolling down Facebook and I'm in a hip-hop group, if I look in a hip-hop group and I see a video with Tekashi 69, I just have to press play. I got to see what this guy is saying because he's hilarious to me, all right? And what he's doing now is taking it completely out of the booth. I mean, it's not even in the booth anymore. All right, it's just straight social media antics. The last beef that I've seen that was very high it was social media antics to it, but it wasn't that much, was the Pusha T and the Drake beef. But that is a good example of, it was a little antics in there and it was personal shots. And that shows you, evolution, with Tupac and Biggie doing the personal shots, the antics with 50 Cent, okay, the antics with Drake and Meek, and then now you got, the personal shots and the antics with Pusha T and Drake, all right? And now with Tekashi, he's making it where you don't even have to do that anymore. You don't even have to make a dope song anymore. All you have to do is have something funny to say on social media, and people will gravitate to it and they will say you won. People are saying Tekashi is undefeated, okay, in these rap beefs without making one song. If he has a song I haven't heard, I don't really listen to his music that much, but I haven't heard anything from this guy dissing any of these rappers. Most of his stuff is for the radio, okay? And this is where we're heading right now. So you gotta wonder what will be next after that. What will be the next wave in rap beef? I don't know. You tell me. I'm gonna leave it at that. All right. You can get in the comments section, as I say, and get in there and say, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about when it comes to the evolution of hip hop beef. If you got something you can contribute to what I'm saying and make me think deeper on it, get in there and let me know something. And you guys have a nice day. All right, my peeps. Peace.